Hello friends, welcome to part 3. Okay, so in part 2, we have this Gravely here that we're selling with this brush hog on it. And originally I modified the Oregon blade for it. And then I was a little skeptical about selling the mower deck with that blade that we modified. But in part 2, what happened here was when I put this blade on that we took off the orange brush hog that we use here all the time, it was vibrating like crazy. So we found that the blade was way out of balance. So I had to grind off over here quite a bit. And reason being, look how rusty this is over here. I don't know if we can get a shot of the inside. Might be able to. It's really rusted out. It was the way this brush hog was stored at one time. And probably had the blade down and it was tilted up in the air and it just collected a lot of water and rotted out the blade here. So in part 2, I asked you to put in the comments whether I should leave this blade on and sell it with this blade, or put the Oregon blade back on this that we modified. I haven't put up that video yet, part 2. So I decided on my own here to not use this blade. We'll use this on the Mulcher brush hog that we're going to be putting together today. If it blows apart on me, that'll be fine. Let's see what else. Yeah, so then what we did was, this is the brush hog here that we're going to make a mulcher out of. And I come to find out this the rear guard here is mangled. The bolt came out of the center there and it's mangled and it's rattling, but we have another one of those. And towards the end of part 2, what we did was, I wanted to take the gearbox off, so we had it. I had the deck tilted. Now I realized this about 3 o'clock in the morning one night, the other night after I did part 2, that 3 of the mounting bolts are bolts with washers on it, and then it had a stud with a nut on it. I think you were supposed to leave that nut on the stud, and the whole thing would pass through here without separating the gearbox. I didn't know. I don't know. It just came to me why that was like that. You'll probably end up commenting me. Those of you that know these decks will probably comment about that stud with the nut on it. So what happened was, it separated from here, okay, the whole gearbox, and then the one plate was still down on the tractor with the gear on it, which was kind of a blessing because I was able to clean this gearbox out real good. Once we took the mower deck out, I tilted this up and I was able to pour gas in there and clean it out real good. And then once I had the whole thing off, I went as far as taking the 4 bolts to hold the horizontal shaft on, and I was able to clean that all out inside too. This horizontal shaft houses the big gear in there too, so I was able to clean that out real good. If anybody wants to see how these things look like, what they look like when they're apart, I made a video 2 years ago, so I'll pin the link to part 2 if you haven't seen it, to get caught up a little bit. And I'll also pin a link in the description of me taking off the horizontal shafts, because as far as the orange brush hog that we use here, I had to do something with that too, because the gears were slipping. I don't know what was going on in there. We really never got a chance to take a better look at that. So I'll leave it in the description for both of the videos. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I put this all back together. None of the gaskets broke. I didn't put no gear lube in it yet. So we're gonna have to replace that rear guard, which I have here. I have that. I don't know if I already had that or it came with the 257 Gravely purchases. And this is the front guard. It's supposed to be for the Mulcher system. And then I'm going to put the Oregon blade back on the one we're selling. And then we'll just use that other blade to do the dual blade setup. And it also came with the spacer here to run the dual blade setup. Now, I told you on part 2, this blade's not wide. So I think it would just be better if I put this blade on there to sell it. And I'll just tell whoever buys it not to do any brush hogging as far as knocking saplings down and stuff. It's good enough to cut grass, high grass. It'll be fine. Should be no problem with that. And this is the thick 3/8 blade. I don't know what tractor that came with. I'm going to cherish this because I don't think they're available anymore. I didn't get a chance to call Richard's Lawn and Garden. I was going to ask Jamie if they're still available. But I'm pretty sure only the 5/16 blades are available here. Alright, so I'll get situated to where I think we're just going to pull this mower deck off. And then we're going to get the slip clutch adjustment on the mower deck. I think we'll do that first. And then I'll go on and we'll mount the guards. Okay, so I have it all set up now so we're to where we could adjust the clutch. But the only problem is water must have got in here. These bolts were really hard to loosen. What you want to do is inside here where my finger is, that's the lock nut. So you want to loosen the lock nut. I'm going to take each bolt out individually and I'm going to clean them on the bench grinder. I think the easiest way to do this would be to take this, I think it's 5/16. Might be bigger, I'm not really sure. If you want to take this nut off and take the whole assembly off, it would be a lot easier to work on that way. But I'm going to try for now to just, I think I may do that. I'll let you know if I do that or not. But to catch the nut again, you're going to have to use a needle nose because you can't get your fingers in there to get the lock nut back on. So I'm going to see how I make out with just doing it without taking the whole clutch assembly off. So once again, I'll be back and I'll show you how to adjust it. I'm going to do each one, just do one at a time. Don't take them all off. Just do one at a time. To take the bolt out, to clean it, and I'll be back. Okay, so it'll be a whole lot easier if we take the whole clutch assembly off. And I think you're pretty much in view there. I think so. So hopefully it'll slide off easy. They usually do, but I'm not really sure. To put them back on, you might want to torque them. Some of you saw what happened to my torque wrench, so that's out of the question. I don't know if there's a washer on here or not. I don't think so. Alright, it comes right off. So you can see how much easier it will be to work on it. Here's the nuts. Here, so I think we'll just I'll put it in the vise. Maybe we'll adjust the clutch right in the vise. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I got them all off pretty easy with the air gun. I zipped them all off. Before I even started, I took PB Blaster and just sprayed the heck out of it. And then after I cleaned each bolt on the wire wheel, I put some more PB Blaster. I'm not going to use any anti-seize or anything on there. This will be all right. This will probably never see any water anyway because we keep all this equipment inside here. So I guess you know, sometimes you might want to torque this, but if we don't have a torque wrench to do it. So after I do the sample I just had, what did I do? Okay, we got it. I'm just going to snug it up on there. I'm not going to go crazy. Like I said, we broke the torque wrench anyway, and I never torqued these. Good enough. I think you can see pretty good of what I'm doing here. Just move the camera over a little bit more. Okay, so the way I do it is, at least the first two, you want to just crisscross. Like I do this one, and always tighten up your nut, your lock nut, after you do what we're going to do right now. In other words, tighten up each lock nut as you go. We probably gotta go quite a ways here. So everything's so clean, I could spin the lock nut as we go here on there. I'm going to crisscross them right now anyway. I'm going to just tighten them up like that right now. Before I tighten the lock nut, because we didn't make the actual adjustment yet. You just want to snug these up. You don't want to go crazy tightening on them. And then what you're going to do is, it's easier to do it with the wrench here. You're going to take, and you're going to turn it a half a turn. Like that. Then you're going to tighten up your lock nut. This way you know you did it. And then go to the other side and do the same thing. Just turn it a half a turn this way. You don't want to knock the wrench off there like I did, but we got it. Half a turn, then tighten up the lock nut, and then just continue. After that, you really don't have to crisscross unless you want to. So I want to tighten up these lock nuts on these two here. You don't have to worry about the bolt turning when you tighten up the lock nut. It's not going to turn. Okay? And that's it. I guess I'll be back to you after we because I'm not going to show you the whole procedure here. We're not going to do the whole thing on camera. Alright, I can't reach that too well. Alright, so I'll be back to you in a few. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of plywood. We're going to put the plywood on the ground. We're going to flip this upside down. This way we can put the guards on. I didn't put any fluid in it yet. We're going to have to do that too. And I'll be back. Okay, two important things I have to tell you. When you saw me tighten this up with the air gun, this is pretty tight. But I just backed the nut off just a little bit because you don't want this tight. You want this to be able to spin pretty easy. And another thing too, when you're tightening up the lock nut on the clutch adjustment, you want to hold the other end of the bolt. Hold the bolt, you know, and how could I say, on the on position in the ratchet, so when you tighten this up, that bolt won't move. It's a good idea to do that. I haven't had a problem with that yet, so I just had to come back to you to tell you that. Very critical that you don't over tighten this. Okay, so I just backed it off a little bit and it was fine. I mean, I can still turn it, but not easy. Oh boy, this is a little bit of a struggle here, but we got it. When I went to put the Mulcher attachment on the front there, the bolts just wouldn't line up over here. So what it was somebody put the skid on backwards, so I had to reverse the skid. I was so fortunate to get the bolts going from the bottom into the skid. There's one here and one back here. They go in from the bottom. Every time I change skids, I snapped them off. They never come off, but I was really fortunate that they came off, and then I switched the skid around and I was able to. It was still a pain to align this thing. It's heavy, it doesn't flex or anything. It was still a pain to get it all lined up, but we got it. And then I put the back piece on, like I was telling you before. The other piece over here is bent. It could be bent back. It could probably be, I'm not equipped to bend it. I don't know if the guy that does the body work over here, he might be able to do it. But then what I did was, I put the one blade on, then I put that spacer, this other adapter, spacer, whatever you want to call it here, so the blade stays straight. I put that on, then I was able to put this blade on so I could crisscross it. The only thing is though, it's not like flush to the blade here, so I kind of had to by eye make sure that they were crisscrossed good, you know. These only depend on a nut that holds the blade on anyway. There's no other supports. This support's there if you want to use the mulching setup. So the only thing I have left to do is I'm going to put it back. This thing's really heavy now. It's heavy because this guard in the front here, the Mulcher guard, that's pretty heavy. And then we have two blades on here. We put this blade here. I checked this blade here, the 3/8 one for balance. It's balanced perfect. It's fine. So what I'll do is I'll flip it back over. I'll put some oil in it. I'll hook it back to this tractor over here. I was going to take the plow and and the dual wheels and the spacers off the 73 there. I spent hours on this. This took a long time to do. So we're just going to make sure this is all right. We'll put it back on the 57 here. And then we'll try it in a little field over here. The grass really hasn't grown, but I just want to see. First thing we'll do is I'll start it up and make sure there's no vibration. That'll be the first thing we'll do. But like I said, I have to flip it over and put the oil in it, and then we'll be ready to test it. But I should be back to you. Yeah, I'll be right back to you. Okay, so I used 85W-145 gear oil. And what you want to do is, there's a plug on the side here of the gearbox. You take that out, then you take the filler plug out on top here, and you fill it up until it starts coming out of this hole here. Then you can put it all back together again. I'm hoping that the blades will be compatible. There's one blade, the thickness is 3/8, the other one's 5/16. I don't know. The only thing we could do is try it. So what I'll do is, I'm just going to pull up over, I'm going to pull up over there with the tractor, so you just test it. Then I'll set you up in the field, and we'll try to cut a little bit of grass there. I think there's enough gas in this. I think so. It might be flooded. Thing almost sounds like it wants to seize. Wow, what's going on here? I can't even push this thing. Does it have anything to do with the mower deck? Huh. Okay, no, something's not right here. What the heck's going on? PTO's off. Oh, the blade's spinning right now. Why? Huh. I don't even have the PTO. Weird. I don't know. PTO's engaged, and I don't even have the PTO. What kind of crazy stuff is this now? I wonder. Unbelievable. I don't even hear any vibration from the blades either. So that's pretty cool. But what's going on with the PTO here? I have to pull it apart and see. Yeah, because if it's not, it's engaged, but it's not engaged. All right, let me get back to you. Try to figure this thing out here. Could we do anything around here without a problem? Anything at all? I took the deck off, found nothing wrong, remounted the deck. It seems to be okay now. Go figure. I put these decks on and off these tractors I don't know how many thousands of times. So everything was fine. And let's see how it works. Because that machine started right up after I remounted the deck. I hit the PTO. PTO came on. I want to show you guys that it works. And then I'll bring the camera out to the field, little field here, and we'll just mess around out there a little bit with it. If anything, this sounds cool. Blades are still spinning. Well, it runs really smooth. No vibration. Still, the blade's still spinning. That's funny. I don't know when the grass is high. I don't know if this tractor has enough power to run that. You can tell it's taking away power. But we'll hook it up to the 73 C8, the one I bored out, 30 over. Well, it was bored out already. I just replaced all the parts in there. Because that's a long story too. But yeah, I'm impressed by that, how smooth it is. I thought it would be shaking. I was afraid to throw the PTO in the first time. But it was stuck on a little bit. I don't know what that could have been when I hooked up the mower to the tractor. It just ran all the time. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not even going to try to figure it out. But I hope somebody got something from this as far as adjusting the clutch and everything. And what else did we do today? Oh yeah, I just went crazy trying to put the Mulcher stuff on it. Yeah, that mower deck's really heavy now between the guard in the front here and the dual blades. But I'm impressed by it. If anything, I'll just sit there and listen to the thing run. I like the way that thing sounds cool to me anyway. But alright, I guess we'll end this one here. And I don't think I forgot to tell you anything, but if I did, oh, by the way, I think today is Sunday, April 6th. I'm pretty sure it is. I'll be releasing part 2 this coming Thursday, whenever that date is. And this video here, part 3, probably won't be up for about a week and a half though. But even when you watch this video, Micks Mowers, he had an appendicitis. He had to drive himself to the hospital. He's doing okay now. Let me tell you something. I was 5 years old, right? And I had a stomach ache, kept throwing up. My mother thought I had a virus. She kept rubbing my stomach. I'm 5 years old, mind you. The pain was incredible that I was in. My mother and father take me to the doctor, right? He's like 2 doors down from the hospital. I go in. He takes one look at me, feels around. Is it hurt here? I said, yeah. He picks me up. He tells his nurse to tell everybody to leave and come back whenever. And he carries me all the way to the hospital to do an emergency. I almost died from that. I'll be 65 years old in May, and I was 5 years old then. I still remember what that pain was. I'm never, ever going to forget the pain I was in with that. And so if anybody gets a chance, if you didn't already, a lot of you I know are already subscribed to Micks Mowers. Go pay him a visit. Just go in the search, Micks Mowers, and his channel will come up. And just wish him well. He's putting up videos right now. He hasn't made anything new. And just wish him well. If you pray like I do, pray for him. He's doing, like I said, he's home and everything, and he's doing fine. But I think he won't be able to do anything for about 6 weeks now. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. And take care. And if I forgot to tell you something, I'll just put it in the captions when I edit this video. Take care now.